Hi everyone, I'm just going to be cooking a quick and easy apple crumble using ingredients that you would normally have at home, but I'm actually going to cook it in the microwave in our Micro Pro grill. Now I know what you're probably thinking. If you haven't seen this in action, you're probably thinking, how is she going to put that stainless steel in the microwave? If you're watching, say hi or hashtag replay so I know that you've watched it later on. So we are going to put the Micro Pro grill in the microwave. It's the only one on the market of its kind. So what it is actually essentially an oven and a grill in this little product, which is really exciting. So the reason that the steel can actually go in the microwave is because of the encased silicone and the silicone feet, and also the silicone on the lid as well. It has receptor plates inside the lid and inside the base as well, which attract the heat, and potentially what's happening is the Micro Pro grill is heating up at really high temperatures of up to 220 degrees in the microwave in a matter of a couple of minutes. And it's the grill that's actually cooking your food, not the microwave. So I'm going to be cooking an apple crumble, as I said. So I've got some apples that I have peeled, and I'm just going to use our corer, which is one of the handiest tools ever. I wish I had one when my daughter was little, when I used to make puree for her all the time. So you just push it through like so, and it comes out really simple like that. And then I'm going to cut, just get rid of that little bit of skin. Do the other one here as well. So this is actually part of our regular range now. Oops, that went a bit skew with the apple corer. The grill is great. It's a great all-round sort of appliance. I use it all the time, from things like from cooking something like an apple crumble to cooking a steak or fish or a piece of chicken in a matter of a couple of minutes, or really simple things like frozen croissants. You can cook them in a matter of a few minutes as well, which is really handy. So Layla uses, Layla who's 12, uses all of those appliances as well. Sorry, there's a really big stubborn seed in there that I don't want in my apple crumble. One other one. So you just need 3 medium to large apples, or you could use pear if you wanted to. You could do apple and pear, apple and rhubarb, anything like that. I'm just going to get rid of the excess skin. And I'm going to chop them up. Now, if you didn't have an extra chef, which is one of these, this is a must in every kitchen. It is fantastic. So this is a food processor all powered by yourself, by your hands, which is really exciting. So great for caravanning, great for kids in the kitchen. So it's also great. The other night I had to whip up some cream for a dessert for people coming over the next night, and Layla was already asleep, and I didn't want to get the Thermomix or the big mix master out because it's quite noisy at 9, 10 o'clock at night. So I actually whipped my cream up in our Extra Chef. Now the Extra Chef has a paddle whisk. It also has a triple blade. Now the triple blade is super sharp, hence why it's in the, what do you call it? In the guard. So it is, as I said, a triple blade. It's angled in a way that cuts your food really hard and fast. And so 10 to 15 seconds is equivalent to approximately 288 knife chops. So I don't know about you, but I prefer not to be cutting things all by hand if I don't have to. Let's get a bigger knife. It's only a small knife for cutting apples. So I'm just going to quarter the apples, or thereabouts. Just throw them into the, I'm going to put the blade in first. So the Extra Chef's great for things like I said, whipping cream. This apple is really not my friend today. It's got ginormous seeds. It's all right. Yeah, so it's great for whipping cream, making puree, cocktails, mocktails, all that kind of thing. And it also has here a little funnel. So what that does is, I'm going to do the apples in 2 parts so I can show you. Oops. Helps if I put the lid on properly. So what that does is there's a little spot here. So if you're making something like salad or salad dressing or coleslaw or anything, and you just wanted to drizzle some oil or dressing or anything in, you can actually fill it up, and it goes up to 50 mil, that sounds about right. Yep, 50 mil, sorry. And it's got little measurements here. So what you can do is, at the moment, you probably can't see. Oh no, you might be able to see. There's a little hole and you can see through it, which means it's open. So if you're filling it up, you can actually close it, pop the oil in there and start to pull away. And once you're ready, you can just turn your little nozzle and it all drizzles into your salad as well. But we don't need that function at the moment. So I'm just going to pop it on the base, on the counter. Now it has a silicone base, which will grip as well to help you real easy. So 8 pulls is all I've done there, and it's just chopped up all that apple. I'm just going to pop it into one of our bowls. One of our spatulas. Now, I know everyone's probably got spatulas and probably don't want to hear about a spatula, but this spatula is like no other spatula. It actually has a pointy end to get into little spots and a curved end to go around round spots as well, but also the end comes off, which I might show you a different one actually. The end comes off, so you can use this as well for things like scraping icing on or anything like that, and this comes off, so then that way that both, sorry, just got tongue-tied, both of them can be cleaned as well, so none of that gross stuff stays in there as well. A great thing about our spatulas is they can go up to, I think it's 200 degrees, so you can be stirring a sauce, like a pasta sauce. You could be stirring something like that in there, and it's not going to get burnt. Of course, the blue part, the handle, if it's resting on your hot pot or your frying pan, that's not the silicone part, that's plastic. So just make sure you're not leaning that as well. And a really good thing is all of our tools, or our KP tools, or our cooking tools, utensils, are actually all like that. So they can all withstand very hot temperatures. They're non-scratch, which is really good as well, especially if you are using something like our grill or our pressure cooker or other things like that. You really don't want to be ruining the non-stick Eterna coating on the grill and our cookware as well. So if you don't use our KP tools, that's fine. Just make sure you don't use any metal or any knives or anything that will scratch the grill as well. So this one and that's all I'm going to do. So as you can see, it's all chopped up, which is really great. Now I have really bad arthritis in my hand, so this Extra Chef is used a lot in our house. And then I'm going to pop all this chopped up apple into the grill. Now the grill, before I pop something in it, it's actually got 2 settings. So it's got the high setting, which the lid is sitting on the top and it can't squish your food. So that's for things like what I'm going to do, which is the apple crumble. If I was doing something like a potato bake in 10 minutes, awesome. It'll blow your mind how quick this thing works. I would be putting it on the casserole position, or if I was doing a cake or scones or anything like that, so they don't get squished. Or Layla's croissants, because Layla doesn't like her croissant squished. But as I do, when I make ham and cheese ones, I like to pop the lid down in the grill position so everything squishes and the cheese gets all nice as well. So if I was doing something like a steak or some chicken or a piece of fish or something, I would pop the lid down in the grill position so the grill is, the micro grill is cooking from the base and the top, and it's acted like a grill, which is really easy to use. I'm just going to pop the... sorry, that's just my dog barking. So I'm just going to pop it in like so and just flatten everything, just so it's even and it's going to cook evenly. Then I'm just going to sprinkle some white sugar on the top. Just move this out so everything's out of the way. These are our flexible cutting mats too, which are really great. They are flexible, hence the name Flexible Cutting Mat. They also go in the dishwasher to wash as well, which is really good. And they're all in different colours. So you can use different colours, like you could use purple for fresh fruit and vegetables. You could use, we have a black one, I think. Don't quote me on that because the black might not be in the range at the moment. But anyway, there's a pack of a few different ones. You could use one for meat, one for chicken, that sort of thing. Then, so I'm just going to sprinkle 2 tablespoons of white sugar. Now I'm getting our sugar out of our modular mates. Now for those that don't have modular mates, pop a note in the comments if you've got modular mates in your kitchen. I'll show you before I turn off live as well what my pantry looks like. My pantry's my happy place. It's took a while to get to how I wanted it, but it's fabulous. So you could potentially mix all the sugar in with the apple, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sprinkle it. So a quick little lesson on our modular mates. These are fantastic. So they have a see-through window, and as you can see, I've got my labels up in the middle sort of. So once things get below the label, which it is now, so I would put white sugar on my list. Now, a really great thing about modular mates is not only can you see what you have, but everything in a modular mate you can pretty much disregard the use by date. So you pop sugar in here, it might say on the bag, on the packet, that it goes off in 12 months time. It's not going to go off in 12 months time. It's airtight, liquid tight, and everything. I'll show you the seal. The seal was actually invented by I just went blank then. By our Tupperware Earl Tupper. Anyway, so what you've got here is you've got the little seal. So it's designed from a paint bucket. So a paint bucket has a lip around it to seal it so the paint doesn't go off, and that potentially is what has been designed using the modular mates as well. So everything that goes in your pantry in the modular mates, you can pretty much disregard the use by date. You can see through them all, which is really great. So you can see here that I have, our labels are a bit different because I've got to get some more labels. My sister actually makes them, which is really cool. And we've got the bigger ones as well. You've got the oval ones. So what happens is modulars are designed for you to be able to utilize the space in your pantry. So I have quite a, not a very deep pantry because we designed the pantry actually around my modular mates. I know, funny. That was the deal of moving here was my husband Wayne was going to build a walk-in pantry, and we actually designed it around how high and deep the modulars were. But if you've already got a pantry, all I need to know is the height of your shelves and the depth and the width, and we can work out, which is really cool. You can actually work out to utilize all the space. So we work out how high it is. So this here, if you look at the base of them, it actually has a number. So this number is 3, and this number is a 2. So in my pantry, I could actually fit another 1 on top, so then everything was the same height. So as you can see here, this modular mate down the bottom is a rectangle 2, and this is a square 2. So they can fit next to each other, and they are the perfect height. Then you could, if you've got 4 high in your pantry, I hope I'm making sense. If you've got 4 high in your pantry, then you can potentially fit 2 2s. You could put 1 3 and 1 1. So everyone adds up to a 4, and it can fit in that shelf, which is really handy. It means that you can utilize all the space in your pantry and not waste any space, especially if you've got a small pantry. Now at my old house, before we moved here to renovate this house, I had a really quite a small, not a very deep corner pantry. So I found if I used the oval shaped modulars, which is these ones here, I could make them go around the corner, so I used all the space. I found that if I had rectangle or square and I had to put them on an angle, then I wasn't actually using space, losing space, sorry, in between the modular mates, which is, you don't want to have to do that. Then we've got our modular mate spice containers. I did have another one just a second ago. Let me get the other one, just so you can see how different they are. So this is our small one and this is our large one. So you can fit 2 small ones on top of each other. They stack on top of each other in your pantry as well. And these are the only sizes that they come in, which is really handy. So then I'm just going to grab our Extra Chef, and I'm still going to use the blade as well. I'm going to grab some butter. So, oh, that's right next to me. So our butter's in our little pitcher set. So this is fantastic. If I needed to melt the butter, I'd leave it in the bottom. I can pop the lid on in the microwave and it's like a splatter catcher. Or you can pop the lid on that way as well, and you can use the small one by itself as well, which is really cool. So then that way it eliminates the use of paper towel or getting a really messy microwave, which nobody likes cleaning the microwave. if they don't have to. So this is all soft butter. I will put the recipe up in the group as well. You don't have to remember what quantities I'm doing. I've just flipped stuff everywhere. I'm a bit of a messy person in the kitchen. So I'm just going to put the butter, half a cup of flour. So in your modular mates, as I said, everything lasts for extremely long time in your modular mates. But what you need to remember is so this one here is half full at the moment. So if I was going to get another kilo or two of flour, and I wouldn't place it on the top. I'd just grab one of my clean bowls and tip the flour out in there, put the new flour on the bottom, so then that way that's being used last, and then the old flour, well, it's not old flour, but the other flour on the top as well, which is really handy to know. So I'm just going to use half a cup using our measuring cups. Now our measuring cups are really cool. They're actually different to most measuring cups because they have a 3/4 cup as well. And the measurements are on the top and on the bottom as well. I'm just going to do half a cup of flour. And something else to know about our measuring cups is all of them are designed to fit in an oval. Even the 1 cup can fit in an oval. So then that way you're not, potentially you're not making too much of a mess. Another thing to remember about flour in your modular mates or whatever container you keep them in your pantry, even if it's not Tupperware. So if you are like me and cook all the time, you don't really have to doesn't matter too much. But if you've got self-raising flour and you haven't cooked for a while, what you really should do is give your container a bit of a shake, so the raising agent all sort of, because it actually sinks. It's heavier than the part of the flour, so you need to give it a bit of a shake, and that way it'll work perfectly for you. Otherwise, you might have a cake that doesn't rise. So I'm just going to give that little zhuzh. And there's actually a little viewing window as well, which is really handy to know, just to check that it's all good. And then I'm going to put in the brown sugar and the cinnamon. So again, I'm just going to use half a cup of brown sugar. And a teaspoon of cinnamon. Now the spice containers actually have excuse my sore hands, they're actually really easy to open. It has a sprinkle side, and it also has the other side where you can fit your own measuring spoons or a teaspoon. Put that on. Just give it a mix. Make sure you use both hands so both arms are getting an equal workout. And easy. Even I can use it. Then you've got this perfect little mixture. I'm going to sprinkle over the top. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to put it in the bowl first. Nearly forgot to add our oats. You could add the oats in there. It'll be easier. I've already got a dirty bowl here, so the reason I'm adding the oats in not with the blade is so they don't all get crushed up. So if you like yours crushed up, then by all means do it in the extra shelf. But that blade is so sharp, it'll chop those little oats up really quickly. Whoops, see? Made a mess everywhere. A great way to get the grill into your kitchen, there's a few different ways, there's actually 3 different ways that everything can be purchased in our catalogue. Oh my goodness, I literally have just dropped some on the floor. Anyone can do my job, I tell ya. Don't have to be a magnificent cook. You just have to want to give it a go. So anyway, as I was saying, the 3 different ways to get, God, how good does that look? To get this in your kitchen, whether it be the pressure cooker, one of our high priced items, or the grill. So one way is buying it outright, which is, it's normally $2.99. So it's one of our higher priced items, or, sorry, I need a cloth. So it's buying it outright, hosting an online or an in-home party and getting it, using it as your half price item when your sales reach the party sales limit. sorry, a tickle in my throat. So 3 ways: purchasing it outright, hosting a party, having a few people over, or even just doing an online party. Invite some friends to a group that I set up, or your consultant sets up, and get a few orders together, which is really, really easy, and you can use it as your half price item. Or my favorite way, which is how I got it within my business kit, and so it's $279. You'd have to check. I think it's $279. Or just check what time of the month, which month it is, and we have different specials on during some months as well. At the moment we have a $39.95 offer, so join without purchasing a kit. $39.95, you have your instant business account, so you can do it just for yourself for personal shopping, so you get a huge discount, or you can do it and be a social seller, so just to your friends and family, or you can do it like I do and actually do it and make some really great income. So I'm going to put this in the microwave on the castor oil setting, so the high setting, for 14 minutes on 900 watt. It's really important to turn your microwave down if you have a hot microwave like I do, and only to cooking in the grill at 900 watt. So I'm just going to cook that for 14 minutes, and then when it stops, I'm going to turn the lid to the grill setting and put it on for 2 minutes, just so it crisps up top of the brown sugar, makes it go nice and brown as well. Nice and crispy, which will be really yummy. So I talked to you about one of my favourites, which is the modular mates, and I'll take you into the pantry in a minute and show you that, my modular mates. We've also got our vent smarts. Now, if someone said to me that I don't have any Tupperware, where should I start? Most people would think I'd say in the pantry, but I wouldn't. I'd actually say in your fridge with the vent smarts. The vent smarts are fantastic. There are other ones on the market, but they're just not, they just don't compare. Before I had Tupperware, before I started Tupperware, I used other things from different, like Kmart and Big W, and they just never seemed to do what they was, never really seemed to keep them fresh. But with our vent smarts, they are designed for your fridge, as I said, for your fresh fruit and vegetables, to keep them fresher for longer. Now the way they work is there's a vent on the top. So we've got 1, 2, and 3. You can actually, you might be able to see it. There's a little, it's very hard to show in the camera. But anyway, there's 3 little images. So there's closed vent. So that's for fruit and vegetables that they're light breathers, so it can be closed. There's also an open vent, so heavy breathers. It sounds quite funny that fruit and vegetables breathe differently, but they do. So and then you've got the medium breathers. So it's really easy. You don't have to remember what goes in what container. You've actually got the little pictogram, which is embedded inside the plastic. So even these can go in the dishwasher. If they get a bit yucky and smelly, and give them a good clean in the dishwasher. I find I really only need to use hot soapy water, but if you want to, you can put them in the dishwasher. Now you don't have to worry about this sticker, because it's not a sticker on the outside. It's actually embedded in 2 bits of plastic, so that way it's never going to wear off, which is really great. If the fruit and vegetables are in the same section, they actually can go in the same container. So something like, let's think of an example, strawberries and watermelon can go in the one container, so you don't need one vent smart for every single thing in your fridge as well. I mean, you can if that's the way you like to do it. So I've got strawberries in here. Now strawberries can be very expensive at sometimes, and my daughter loves strawberries, but I just hate buying them when they are really expensive and then they go off in a day or 2 in the plastic container. They last for so long in the vent smarts. I can get 3 to 4 weeks out of mushrooms. Now I don't know about you, but mushrooms, they go off pretty quick. Anyway, so we've got the pictogram that I showed you about. We've also got the vent on the lid, so it can be slid onto whichever one that it needs to be. Now, if you've got your picture on the front and your vent on the back, you can actually look at your vent smart, and you can know that if you push it to the left, it's actually the picture's on the left. If you push it to the right, it's actually the pictures on the right. Something I only learned not that long ago, and I've been doing Tupperware for a few years now. Now these also stack like a modular, so everything stacks in Tupperware like a modular mate. So Vent Smarts, Clear Mates, and freezer keepers, they actually all have feet. So these are our Vent Smarts, they have feet, so then that way everything stacks. So as you can see, there's a gap there with so the air can go through. So that means that in the fridge, when they're in their environment, all the air is circulating all around all of your containers in the fridge, so everything is staying fresh at the same rate. So next I might show you some really cool ones. Our freezer keepers. Now our freezer keepers are fantastic. They have a curved sort of base, and also the little feet, and that's so they can stack on top of each other, utilizing all the space in your freezer, but also again so the air can circulate around your freezer containers. You can label them with our freezer labels, which is really handy. So then when you're going through the freezer, like I did last night to choose what we're having for dinner, I looked at, these are beef kebabs, and I know that there's 6 in here, so I know what's in here without having to open it and spoiling the environment that they're in, and keeping them fresh and avoiding frostbite on your food. And I also know that these ones were the earliest ones that I put in the freezer, so I would use these ones first because they've got a date on them, which is really handy as well. So it makes meal planning simple. And also, I might just grab a clean one so I can show you something. Okay, so this is one of our large freezer keepers. Now the reason I wanted to show you is because the freezer keepers are super flexible. Now what that means is the reason for that is they're very thin plastic. They've actually, all our freezer keepers, it's very hard to see, but they've got little snowflakes on them. So the reason they're flexible is so when you've got frozen food in here, you can actually tip it upside down, give it a little flex, give it a little twist, and whatever's in here is going to come out really easily. Now for things like these ones, this small one here, I can actually fit ½ kilo of mince in, which is really, really, look how small that is, and it fits 500 grams of mince or chicken or anything like that. These ones are one of my favourite and most used ones as well. So we like crumb chicken and chicken schnitzel and that sort of thing. So what I do is I make it with chicken breast and crumb it myself in a different crumb mix, and I freeze it in layers. So once I've got one layer, I grab a piece of freezer go-between, or if anyone ever sees silicone reusable, washable go-between, I would love to know where. We have suggested to Tupperware, so hopefully one day that'll come out. So we don't have to use any plastic or anything like that. You could use a bit of baking paper as well, which I've done before too, and then use that baking paper to cook your schnitzel on as well, which is really, these are really great. So you've got, so these are airtight containers. So if you can see the little ridge here, that is so. The next one sits on there, and then the next one sits on there. So everything, like I said, is stacked in a very orderly fashion. So you can, not only so it's organized, but so you can see everything in your freezer as well. Now they are fantastic for everything. Don't lose any more peas in the bottom of your freezer. So something that I learned not long ago as well is that one of the #1 causes for freezers and fridges breaking is loose crumbs and peas and things, which is really interesting to know as well. Then we have our Clear Mates. Now our Clear Mates keep everything fresh from the deli section. So if you go into Coles or Woolworths or your local supermarket or your deli, everything in the deli section potentially can be kept in a Clear Mate. Now we've got the low sort of rectangle ones, we've got higher ones, we've got square ones. This is probably my most used one, the square one. They also have all the little feet on there as well, and that's so you've got the feet on the bottom and you've got the ridges on the top. So then that way they sort of lock into each other, and again the air is circulating at an even rate for all your food as well. So things like cheeses, sun-dried tomatoes, these are actually liquid type too. So all Tupperware containers that are round are liquid type, with the exception of the Clear Mates. Now the Clear Mates again are made with the same kind of lid like our modular mates, and that way it makes them liquid tight and airtight. Now you can keep them upside down so you can see from the top. You can keep them any way you like because they're liquid tight and airtight. Now I also keep things like the big containers of yogurt, so it's also cheaper and better for the environment to not be buying the individual serves of yogurt. So I tip the yogurt in here, and that way it keeps nice and fresh. I find it keeps a lot fresher in a Clearmate than it does in the yogurt container because they just don't seal perfectly as well. And I think that might be about all because it's still cooking. So I will come back on in a few minutes and show you what the apple crumble looks like. But if you've got any questions, pop a note in the comments and I will answer your questions too. Have a great day.